YouTube, welcome to my channel. I wanted to share my IVF journey with you guys to let you know what I've went through so far. Excuse my dog, she's trying to get in and she's just angry. I wanted to share what we've been through so far, why we came up with the idea that IVF was best for us. Some challenges that we face along the way and what it's taken to get here so far. All right, so stay tuned, we'll get into it. So what we've been through so far, a little background. We do have children previously. My husband and I, we don't have any kids together, but before we met, we both had children. And we had 2 miscarriages. We had a miscarriage in 2013, and then we also had a miscarriage in December 2018. Now, these were not just any miscarriages, these were actually ectopic pregnancies that we had. The first one in 2013, we didn't know that we were pregnant at all. It wound up going to the hospital, having pains, and we had to do an emergency surgery, and I lost a tooth. And the one in December, we're blessed. We did not have to have surgery on that one. We were able to get that one resolved. Now that one was outside my tube. So, yeah. So why have we decided that IVF is best for us? So with us having the first ectopic pregnancy, we didn't know that we was pregnant. And I had surgery and a tube was removed. The second ectopic, I was aware that I was pregnant at the time, and we were able to catch it before it made it to where we would have had to have surgery. After the first ectopic, we waited a long time before we tried to have another child, which since I had surgery with the first one, there was a lot of scar tissue that had built up, I'm sure, which is probably why the baby was not able to make it through the tube with the scar tissue. So that's probably one of the reasons. I mean, we didn't want to take that chance of something like that happening again. So now that we went over why, we didn't want to take those chances, let's talk about the statistics. The statistics of having another ectopic after your first is 10%. After you have that second ectopic, the percentages of you having a third is 25%. Since we found ourselves in those percentiles before, we just didn't want to take that risk. And on top of that, with a woman having an ectopic, these things are dangerous, very dangerous, and 1 in 3 women survive ectopic pregnancies. I've had 2 already. 1 in 3. I've had 2. We didn't want to take that chance again and have a third and, not survive. So, yeah. Okay, so the challenges that we've been through. Ooh, challenges. The biggest challenge is the wait, and finding a doctor that you trust. That's the biggest thing I would say. The wait is the hardest. Yes, finding a doctor that you trust. I found a couple of doctors that I really like. My first choices were not in my state. I did travel to one, but we couldn't get on board with the insurance. So with that doctor being out of network, and I decided on a doctor that was here in my hometown where I lived, and we decided to go with that one. Pretty satisfied with the experience so far, but the wait of getting there is so long. Oh my goodness, that's the wait. Okay, so let's talk about the wait. Oh my goodness, there's so many tests that you have to do or take or get done before you get to that point. My doctor's very thorough. So we had to do blood work first to see what egg count was, just to see all these different levels of things that he wants to see. We had to do an HSG, which was important because I wanted to do this test also because I was curious about the status of my tubes. So upon doing this test, I know we had the emergency surgery in 2013. We found out they told us that they took a tube. Upon having the HSG done, we found out they did not remove a tube. They only removed partial of the tube where the baby was and left us that remaining tube. So we still have both tubes and they were open, which is all completely good news. So that's one test that we had to complete before. The HSG, I was terrified of having this test. I heard so many horror stories about this test. Oh my goodness, I was almost to the point of canceling my appointment. YouTube, Google, all of that scared me half to death. Scared me really for nothing because the test was not painful. I did feel some pressure, but it wasn't pain. I took an 800 ibuprofen and I took an Advil upon going maybe like an hour and a half before I got there, and I was good. And then the blood work that they do, some of these blood works that they have to take have to be done on certain days of your cycle. So that it depends on how the doctor's working. You know, you can get all of this HSG and the blood work done in one cycle. So that was one trial that we had to get through before we could get to this point here. Let's see. Okay. So after the HSG, my husband and I both had to do blood work to make sure that we pass all the prerequisites that are required to be able to do IVF, period. I think this is all like some thing with, I don't know, the board or whatever. Every couple trying to do IVF has to complete these certain blood works. My husband had to do a semen analysis. Also, which was great. That came out better than both of us expected. And upon doing the HSG, my doctor did give us the opportunity to decide if we wanted to do an IUI or if we wanted to do IVF. We decided on IVF. Also, before that, we had to do a IVF class through our fertility clinic. So that was some other obstacle we had to overcome to get to this point now. So yeah, he gave us the option to try naturally, do an IUI, or do IVF. We decided that IVF was best. Even though both of those tubes were open, we didn't know if they was open prior to HSG or after. We just didn't want to take the chance of having another ectopic and delaying again the time frame that we would have to wait, because with an ectopic you have to wait until your body is healed, and that would just set us about maybe 3 more months behind, and we didn't want to take that chance. Our tubes was healthy. We didn't have any hydrocele pinks, which is fluid that can build up in the tube, causing them to expand. And this fluid, this hydrocele pink, is toxic to an embryo. It basically doesn't allow it to grow and kill it off. So while things were in good shape, it was like, this is what we need to do. We don't want to do anything else. So we decided that route. So next we had to do an IVF class. Oh my goodness, we had to pay $216 for this IVF class. In the class, there were tons of other couples there. They just went over the IVF procedure, what to expect, went over some of the medications, allowed us to practice injecting or drawing up the medication and injecting it. Very helpful information, but you know, I had already YouTubed and Googled everything that I needed to know, so all of this stuff that we were learning in the class, I mean, I felt like I didn't need to hear it because I've already heard it. Man, YouTube has been my best friend throughout this journey, and that's the biggest reason why I'm doing this video now, because it helped me so far, so much. It's so many women on there sharing their stories and inspired me to share mine. So yeah, I wanted to definitely share mine and add to this library of stories. So after our IVF class, we were given the okay to go ahead and start with our treatment plan. Our protocol called for birth control. What do you know? Another delay in this process. I guess it was because my egg reserve was so high. I think it's the AMH. It was so high, we we were not just straight starters. We had to do the birth control. I actually took my last birth control pill yesterday, and we'll go back to the doctor Friday to get the okay. We'll do the ultrasound, blood work, and get the okay to go ahead and start the medications that my doctor has me on. The birth control, it was not bad. I heard so many stories about birth control with, oh my goodness, emotional outbursts, depression, so much. I was like, oh my goodness, I do not need this right now. But it wasn't bad. So with the birth control, my clinic instructed me to take it at nighttime. So I took it right before bed. So if there was any, weird things going on, it would only be in my dreams. I would be depressed in my dreams. Wow. So yeah, while taking the birth control, I did notice a lot of cramping, especially when I first started it. I don't know if that was part of it, but I had a lot of cramping. Didn't have any mood swings or anything. It was a pretty good experience for me so far. I did notice some symptoms like just that I wouldn't normally have. I just thought it contributed to the birth control, but it wasn't any mood swings or anything like that. Just cramping, tingling here and there, things like that. So nothing bad. So yeah, it wasn't too bad, but I'm glad I'm done with that. That's one less thing I have to worry about on my daily. Alright, so that's basically everything that I've been through so far to get to this journey. I think our first appointment was, I think it was either March. No, it was March. The first appointment with my doctor was like March. That next month, April, we done the HSG, all that blood work. The next month, we done the prerequisites needed to get into the IVF thing to make you eligible to go through IVF. The next month, which was June, was the birth control, and then Friday we should get the okay to go ahead and start the medication. If you would like me to do a video about the medications that I've been prescribed, definitely leave it in the comments so that I can update that and show you all about my medications that I have been prescribed. And if you like this video, definitely give it a thumbs up. This is my first video like this, so definitely tell me if you like it. I do want to do another video about my ectopic stories. Oh my goodness, because they definitely something to have gone through. Oh my goodness, I would not wish that on anybody because those are so painful. You literally feel like you're gonna die. So yeah, I do want to share my story about that, just making other women aware. If it's just the symptoms that maybe I can help you out with, and just so you would be aware, because my very first one, I had no idea that I was pregnant. I had a period and everything, but just to wind up in the hospital and hours later you find out you gotta have surgery because you're pregnant and it's ectopic. Yeah, that was a lot. So yeah, I'll definitely try to be consistent and try to get these videos out to definitely help others. All right, thanks. Bye.